Everything feels wrong right now. And I mean that specifically, not dramatically wrong, not crisis level wrong. Just off, like you are standing in your own life and something does not fit anymore. The things that used to excite you feel flat. The people that used to feel like home feel slightly distant. The version of yourself you have been performing feels like clothes that shrank in the wash, and you cannot explain it to anyone, because from the outside, nothing is wrong. You are fine. You are functional. You are doing what you are supposed to be doing. And underneath all of that, something is ending. You can feel it. You just do not know yet what it is making room for. Carl Jung called this the most dangerous and most necessary moment in any human life. Not because something is breaking, because something is completing. And the space it leaves behind is exactly where everything real begins. Most people misread this feeling. They go to a doctor. They increase productivity. They push harder. They find reasons to explain the flatness. Burnout, stress, seasonal. But Jung watched this in patient after patient, and he recognized what it actually was. He called it the liminal state, the psychological threshold between one version of yourself and the next. And he said something almost no one is told about it. He said it is supposed to feel like loss, because something is actually ending. The version of you that no longer fits has to die before the new one can arrive. And that dying looks exactly like what you are feeling right now. Here is the first sign. You have started questioning things you never questioned before. Not in a crisis way, in a quiet way. Why am I doing this? Is this actually what I want? Whose definition of success am I chasing? These questions used to feel dangerous. Now they feel necessary. Jung called this the awakening of the self. When the ego's framework starts asking if it is built on the right foundation, that questioning is not instability. It is the psyche recalibrating, getting honest before the next chapter begins. Second sign, the things that used to numb you have stopped working. The phone, the noise, the distractions you used to reach for automatically, they do not land the same way anymore. You pick up the phone and put it down. You start something and lose interest. You look for the old escape routes and find them blocked. Jung said this is the unconscious refusing to be avoided anymore. When the numbing stops working, something real is demanding your attention, and it will not stop demanding until you listen. Third sign, you have been more tired than usual. Not physically tired, a specific kind of tired, the tired of carrying a version of yourself that no longer fits, of maintaining relationships that have run their course, of performing a life that belongs to who you were, not who you are becoming. Jung documented this exhaustion in every patient who was on the edge of real transformation. He said the psyche withdraws energy from the old structure before it redirects it into the new one. The tiredness is not the problem. The tiredness is the transition. Subscribe right now, because the next video is specifically about what happens after this transition completes, and most people miss it because they are still trying to fix the ending instead of preparing for what comes next. Fourth sign, something from your past has been coming up without invitation. Old memories, old versions of yourself, things you thought you had resolved, appearing again. Not to torture you, Jung was precise about this. He said the psyche reviews before it advances. The things surfacing right now are not evidence that you have gone backwards. They are the unconscious doing a final audit, making sure nothing essential is left unprocessed before the new chapter opens. Let it surface. Do not push it back down. The review is almost complete. Fifth sign, you have been drawn to something you cannot fully justify, a direction, an interest, an impulse that does not fit neatly into the life you have built, and your rational mind keeps rejecting it. That is not practical. That is not who I am. That makes no sense right now. Jung called this the call of the self, the deeper intelligence of your psyche pointing toward what comes next, not through logic, through pull. When something keeps returning despite your resistance to it, that is the new chapter announcing itself. Sixth sign, some relationships have quietly shifted, not through fights or dramatic endings. They have just become quieter, less necessary. People you once spoke to daily now feel like they belong to a version of your life that is completing. Jung said this is natural during genuine transition. As the inner world reorganizes, the outer world reorganizes to match it. The relationships falling quiet are not failures. They were complete, and completion is not the same as loss. The new chapter does not arrive with an announcement. It does not send a calendar invite. It does not wait until you feel ready. It arrives in an ordinary Tuesday that feels slightly different from the one before. A moment of clarity that comes without warning. A decision that feels smaller than it is. A morning where something that was heavy is just slightly lighter. That is the new chapter beginning, not with fireworks, with a quiet shift in the weight you have been carrying. You are closer to it than you think. The signs you are feeling right now are not the problem. They are the preparation. Share this with someone who is in the middle of something they cannot explain. Who feels wrong in a life that looks fine? They are not broken. They are on the edge of something real. Subscribe, because what comes next is exactly about how to walk through the threshold instead of backing away from it.